Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Sword and Tea, special pre-recorded episode of Sword and Tea. This is a TTRPG chat show here on Sword and Key where we talk with wonderful people in the TTRPG space about the incredible things that they create. So, artists, game designers, musicians, maybe one day, lots of wonderful people. But I am very happy to be joined once again by the amazing Megan. Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for joining us again. I know we have spoken about. I mean, I talk about your games a lot. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I we have been joined by you at least once before, to talk about Oh Patron Mine, fantastic. I think Warlock building game, but even beyond that, a game just amazing in its own right. Today we're going to be talking about Homecoming, a rather hearty game that you currently have as part of a Kickstarter, along with two other games by two other writers, or at least teams of writers. So really excited to talk about that. Thank you again for joining us. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk about Homecoming.
Yeah. So again, this is a pre-recorded chat. So whereas we are typically more than happy to address questions that do appear in chat, I recommend you head over to the Sword and Key Discord to ask any questions there. And if Megan doesn't see them right away, I am happy to send them to her. So yes, please check out all of Sword and Key's links at beacons.ai/Sword and Key. Right up at the top are our socials, Instagram and Blue Sky, and links to the Discord, so you can hang out with cool folks, talk about cool games like this one. There is a dedicated chat in the server for Sword and Tea games, so you can ask questions about Homecoming or really any of the games that appear here on Sword and Tea. You can find links on Beacons to all of the other important stuff, including links to some of our affiliates. We've got a number of great affiliates, like Long Dog Dice, who make incredible dice sets. You can use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase. You can also use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase, Eldritch Foundry. And I just got an email, like literally when I sat down here, from Eldritch Foundry that said that we have a very exclusive deal from them now. So I'm going to actually, this is like breaking news. I'm gonna see if I can read this in real time here. Um, Although, no, I actually need to find it. There it is. So on through the specific like affiliate link that Sword and Key has with Eldritch Foundry, you can now get an exclusive deal on Eldritch Unlimited, the unlimited STL subscription, 3 months for just $19.99. It's normally $15 a month, so that is a pretty good deal. That offer will go live on, well, it went live yesterday, and won't appear anywhere else. So if you are a person that really enjoys STLs, if you have a 3D printer, this is a pretty good 3 months for $20 is actually pretty good for nearly unlimited printing at that point. It's up to you and your printing resources at that point. So check out our affiliate link with Eldritch Foundry. And again, if you're just going to be printing something, having something mailed to you, you can always use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase. We're also affiliates with Hit Point Press, makers of Humblewood Islands, Stina Una. We have an affiliate link for them as well. You can also check out on the Beacons any of our links for our charitable organizations. We have a number of great ones active at all times if you're looking to put your money towards a great cause. All that said, I'll save everything else for the end. I want to save most of our time to chat about Homecoming, this really awesome game that Megan, you have been wonderful enough to share with us. So I know we've talked to you before, but just to kind of refresh folks, where might folks have seen your name in the TTRPG space before? I know you've written plenty of games. I know you play in games as well. What's kind of your history with TTRPGs? Where might folks recognize you from?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Megan. I use she, her pronouns. I am most places you can find somebody lurking on the internet at Megan Lynn FTW. Um, I am an indie game designer, sometimes AP performer, but you probably know me from such titles as Hunter Hunted is one of the newest ones, Sanctuary and Sentinel, most recently O Patron Mine. I write narrative focused, GMless, and solo games. So I also write a lot of shitpost games. So I contain multitude. So I'm either writing your really meaty, introspective, deep games, or I'm writing nonsense. So
It's a beautiful dichotomy, I think, that you embody. Yeah, Hunter Hunted is was another one we chatted about here, and another really awesome game. Um, we recently went to PAX West and saw it on a table there, and it was a really cool moment to see Hunter Hunted out in the wild. So and see your name on it and everything. Maybe if we ever meet up at a con or something, I'll get you to sign it. Um, yeah, just top tier games across the board. I enjoy the shitpost games as well. I think they're
Mhm.
great. But I always want to say graduation because homecoming makes me think of graduation for some reason. Homecoming is not necessarily a shitpost game, as far
No.
as I've been able to tell. It is. You sent me 53 pages that I've really enjoyed reading through. So rather meaty. What is Homecoming? Elevator pitch for Homecoming. What are folks looking at once they hopefully back this Kickstarter?
Yeah, so Homecoming is a card-based game. It was initially designed as a tarot-based game, and now going through this publishing process, it's going to be published as its own tarot-sized deck of cards, kind of in the vein of like For the Queen and other deck-based games, which I'm very excited about. It's going to look so beautiful. And in it, it is a designed initially as a solo game. It could absolutely be played collaboratively with multiple people, all controlling the same PC. And your character is the eldest daughter of the youngest generation of the Braddock family, which is a very old money New England family uh, where they have a history of the eldest daughter of each generation going missing. And the game is about um, your character's return to the family's ancestral home in search of her mother who has just gone missing. And it's an exploration of both a physical space in this house that is very unwelcoming and labyrinthian and constantly changing. But it's also an exploration of family history, um, uncovering and dealing with familial trauma, and dealing with very spooky stuff that's happening as you're trying to make your way through the house.
It's it's pretty incredible just to kind of like read the description because it is very evocative. Um, to address the Kickstarter real quick, this is a Kickstarter that is live right now as of time of recording, which is on the 12th. I believe we're going to post this on Sunday, so now I have to do time math. That's in 2 days. There will be, I believe, 11 days left for the Kickstarter being live. So to put this out now, don't wait. You're going to get 3 games for
Mhm.
a really good deal. This
Yes.
is through PWG, Project We Love. How did you get aligned, or is that a, I'm not familiar with Project We Love, at least off the bat. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
something that you are
so
directly connected to? Yeah, please.
yeah, Possible World Games.
Oh, pause. Okay.
Yeah, Possible Worlds Games. So Tyler, who is the main creative force behind Possible Worlds Games, I've been a big fan of his game design since Beak, Feather, and Bone, which is the first game that he had designed. So we'd always kind of floated around the same space. We'd been like said hi to each other at cons, like supported each other's work. And when I had finished my first draft of Homecoming and I had started kind of sharing it with people to get opinions on it, um, I got some pretty strong feedback that it was something special. It was something that the long and short was I was like, this game deserves more than I on my own can give it. And I want to try to find a partner to take on the publishing aspect of it to hopefully kind of give it the treatment that I believe it deserves and that other people believe it deserved. So out of the blue, one day, like I had sent off a ton of inquiry emails to other publishers, and like out of the blue, I was like, you know what, I'm going to send one to Tyler. I don't know if Possible Worlds is publishing anything for other people. I don't know if he wants to, but I'm like, I wrote this game. This is what it's about. Is there any chance that you want to publish something from other people? And he responded, and he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, like I'm looking into doing that. and we just got to talking, and he was like, I think this is a game that fits the Possible Worlds brand. Um, and we kind of just like started rolling from there. And I know that he has plans to publish 12 games from different creators under Possible Worlds banners within the next like 3 or 4 years, which is absolutely incredible. So this is the first Kickstarter as a part of that expansion. I'm so happy to be partnered up with Cosmic Century Knights,
Yeah.
designed by One Shot Podcast James D'Amato. Um, a wonderful like 90s shonen anime inspired game. And then there's Homecoming. And then if you back for Cosmic Century Knights and Homecoming, you get Tyler's game, which is called Chuck, for free. So it's $60. You can get 3 full TTRPGs, which is, I think, a pretty great deal.
I think it's yeah, no, like seeing what TTRPG books rightfully, I think price goes for.
Right, yeah.
That's an incredible deal.
I
Yeah.
know that Tyler, who's been working with Logan Dean, who worked on Triangle Agency, among other stuff,
Mm.
have been really putting in the work to make games that both are so that creators are paid what they're worth for the work that they put into it, but also that's something that is accessible and affordable to a wide variety of people. And I know that it's been a big point of pride for them to be able to offer the games at these prices for people, which is fantastic because it helps us get them into more people's hands.
Absolutely. It sounds like networking really did you kind on this one. And I know that publishing is, I mean, an entirely set, like there's the writing, there's the creation. That's an
Mhm.
entirely separate job in and of itself. So it sounds like this is working out. I'd love to hear that. As you mentioned, it is bundled with Cosmic Century Knights. However, they can be bought independently as well.
Yes.
And then,
Mhm.
yeah, if you get the two, you get Chuck as well. Which, just to throw out Cosmic Century Knights, James D'Amato, great writer. Love the stuff that he puts out there. The description of that is 300 years ago, a gigantic sword descended from the heavens and plunged into a fantasy world. It carried 100 legendary blades, which spread across the land. These century blades have played an important role in history and myth, empowering noble warriors and enabling terrible tyrants in equal measure. However, not new and terrible threats from the Star Conquerors, the Fell Knights, and the Blight Labyrinth test the mettle of every knight. Draw your blade and steel your heart. I love that. So, if to get that along with Homecoming is a pretty good deal then to tie in Chuck, which is about what if your lover shrunk down to a few inches tall. And I think
Yep.
that's great. And just that first sentence is great. Put them in
You
your
get a
pocket.
little you get a
Yeah.
little meatball, and the
Yeah.
whole game is like, oh, do they want to go outside today? They want to stay
Uh,
inside, and then you
I
like bring
love
them on
that.
little adventures.
Even little problems can add up. That's which of you is big enough to make the hard choices. That's really great. So to bundle those, amazing. But I think Homecoming is enough to stand on its own feet on this one. So to delve into it, we have this kind of like you said, New England, old New England, wealthy family, big house, eldest daughter is returning home, but there is this history of like people missing in the family, kind of this almost this lineage or tradition of going missing. Um, I've seen on social media that some people have pointed out inspirations that maybe weren't intentional or direct, but they've drawn parallels. I've seen the blueprints
Yep.
pop up a couple of times. Not something I was familiar with. And I've also seen you say that like it wasn't intentional. Might have a parallel there, but maybe not something you were familiar with as well. So I'm curious then, what were some inspirations for this story? What did you kind of draw on for setting and tone and even overall style?
Yeah. So the the biggest inspirations that I usually cite when I'm talking about it, it's funny that like multiple people have said blueprints. I'm like, Homecoming was written a few years ago. But
Yeah,
it's nice that like a game like Blueprints has a lot of popularity because I'm like, hey, if you like that game, you'll probably like my game.
sure.
But as far as what inspired it, the probably the biggest inspiration for me writing this game was What Remains of Edith Finch.
Mm,
which I played over the course of like 1, maybe 2 days max, and kind of like entered a fugue state and wrote the first draft of Homecoming like within days of playing it. So that's easily, like, tone wise, that was the biggest inspiration for me. And then getting into like mechanical inspiration, I was really inspired by Bluebeard's Bride
sure.
and Betrayal at the House on the Hill, just in the room by room discovery aspect of things. Um, Also, like games like Gone Home, just like the thematic exploration games, like not necessarily anything overtly scary, just like an unease and tension about it as you're exploring the space and discovering the story bit by bit. Was really my intention with in the design of this. But I didn't, when I first started writing it, I was like, I am not somebody to be writing a horror game, a scary game. Like, that's not me. And as it came together, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna try it. um because I've said it a bunch. I'm a huge baby. I don't like watching horror movies. What I do like is reading the Wikipedia pages of horror movies, because I want to know what happens, but I don't want to have those images in my mind. um
I'm
it
glad you and I agree with you. Yes. I'm
like
I'm kind of in the impatient vibe where I'm just like, I got maybe an hour and a half of my life and I don't want to spend all of it if this is terrible. I just want to know, let's
mhm,
just get to it. But yes,
yeah,
I appreciate the Wikipedia page reading. I feel not
yeah,
alone anymore. Thank you for that.
yes. Yeah, like, in as like a narrative tool, like, I just, the way that horror movies and thrillers and things like that, like, are just able to, like, the way that a really good horror movie like controls tension is something that, like, I really wanted to try to replicate.
Yeah.
Is like, I don't necessarily need to be writing things that are very scary. Like, I just want the tension, like the push and pull between being afraid but being curious enough to keep going. Like, that's something that I really wanted to play with.
I really love that. I think that's very interesting, especially to literally structure it in as a house format where every opening of a door is this building of tension of what you're going to find. Is it going to build off of the thing you found in the last room is kind of what I'm getting from that. I also think it's very funny that every time you talk, we're like, you always mention, I'm such a wimp about horror, and yet we've talked about Hunter Hunted and Oh Patron Mine, and just like these horrifying monstrosities that we keep bringing up. But yeah, this game definitely doesn't feel like a combat simulator. Much more
No.
of the drama, tension building, trying to solve this mystery of what this family's generational trauma is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, that's really cool. When it comes to like the New England setting, is that just like based off vibes? I know a lot of this style of horror, old money, all that kind of feels right in New England. Was there a particular connection to setting it there for you?
um I mean, not much past the fact that I'm from New England.
Sure.
um I'm a
So you
new, so
might
like
drive
when I,
past houses like this. I don't know.
oh yeah, like, my when I pictured the house in my head and pictured the town that the house is a part of, my head canon, it's not put anywhere in the game, so I guess I can call it a head canon, is that it's on the southern Maine coast is where I
Okay.
had imagined it, like rocky beaches perched up on a cliff. I'm still, I make this reference. I've made it to everybody I've talked to about this game, and nobody's gotten it so far. So let's see.
Okay.
Have you
Yeah.
have you seen the, I don't know what year it came out, but it was a co-production between the BBC and Lifetime of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None.
I want to say yes, and Eva, who's producing this, who nobody can hopefully see, is definitely nodding. So
Um,
you found at least one. I'm going to Google it
yes.
real quick, but that absolutely does
Um,
sound familiar. Yes.
but it's an incredible incredible production of And Then There Were None. Like they add so much to it. Like they make
Oh
it
yeah, with
like a
Sam Neill. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
like
Yeah,
it's a
incredible.
legit, they make it like legitimately scary. Like, and they add all of these elements in it that aren't in the book, but it expands on what's in the book. But the house in that, like this stark white on the middle of just like this plateau cliff high above the water, giant house with nothing but cliffs and ocean around it. Like that was my vision
I
for it,
love that.
is that house.
Yeah, because
And
it's so beautiful and so inhospitable at the same time. It's
mhm,
like, why would anyone want, with this level of money,
yeah,
want to live here?
right. And when Tyler and I were talking about like what vibe we wanted like for the cover illustrations, things like that, I like sent him a million screenshots from And Then There Were None. Um and was like this, but like with a little more vegetation. And Theo, who did the cover art, like absolutely killed it. Like I wanted it to just seem like something looming and yeah, unwelcoming and but still big and gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um, because like the house itself is the main character of the game, I would say. Um,
Yeah, it absolutely reads like that for sure.
so I wanted to make sure like that was like you get that from just looking at the cover. You're yeah, like I get it. This is Scary House.
Yeah, it's just so sterile, so
Mhm.
old and lived at the same time. And that cast too, and that it's all just like cheekbones and like the sternest British faces you've ever seen. It's incredible.
So good.
Yeah, Game of Thrones actors they've thrown in there too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Charles. Yeah, I would say Charles Dance is in it.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
But now I need to watch it again. I've been
yeah,
talking about it
same.
nonstop for like weeks, and I'm like, I really need to watch this again. But it freaked me out pretty bad the first time I watched it, and I know the story of it. Then There Were None, and it's still like the way that they did it. Like once again, like the tension of it is just like so good. So.
Yeah, and I love the cover art also does kind of place you have your character
Mhm.
kind of in the foreground, but the feature of the cover is the house. The house
Yeah.
does appear like the main character for sure, just looming there. Um, to bring that up real quick, because I know you have cover artist, and you also mentioned the cards as well, and I really want to talk about
Yes.
those. But what artist did you collaborate with for this project?
Yeah. So the cards were done by Ashlane, who is Average Crow on Instagram. They did a incredible job. Like really what we wanted, like when I was thinking about like what we wanted this to look like, we wanted the deck to look like that it was itself an artifact that was found in the house. We
Hmm.
wanted it to look weathered and just intriguingly mystical, but we wanted it to look like something that was faded and old and had been in this house for a while, like something that you found in your exploration. Um, so get with that uh, guidance, like Ash absolutely killed it. The cards look so gorgeous. I had said like I want it to look old and weathered, and I want like vintage looking like flora around it, but I want to use poisonous plants. So I found like a bunch of images of poisonous plants. So it looks all pretty and flowery, but it's all toxic. Um, which was kind of like the overarching theme. Like I want everything to look pretty, but like an unsettling way. Like if you look at something for too long, you're like, this isn't right.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because that's
it
kind of
does.
the vibe.
Yeah, 1,000%. It is the vibe of like nature gives these subtle clues as to
Hmm.
what is dangerous and what isn't,
Right.
and we don't
Yeah.
always pick up on it right away. But yeah, it gives me that like that PBS mystery sort of
Mm.
vibe to it, like the that kind of like classic art, the almost like Death's Head image, because there's a lot of it
Yeah.
that's posted on the Kickstarter, which is pretty great, and it has that like some of it's like weathered wallpaper, some of it is just like this absolutely feels hand drawn by somebody who's going through some intense repressed
Yeah.
trauma right now. And I really respect that is the energy it puts out. And just the card like back designs is also just gorgeous. Really great design on that.
Mhm.
So Ashley did the cards.
The cards, yes, and then
Yes.
Theo did the cover,
Gotcha.
the
Yes.
cover or all of the box art. So the outside cover, then the interior, with the
Mhm.
wallpaper and the family tree, because we wanted it to be that when the box is closed, you're outside the house, and as soon as you open it, you're inside. So that's like you have the wallpaper and the family tree, and the cards are inside. But then when you close it up, it's the house and the grounds of the home
That's a great
outside.
concept. I know you originally mentioned that this was going to be a tarot-based game,
Mhm.
but you decided to divert from that, kind of make like an original deck of cards. Where did that decision come from?
Because Tyler said I could.
Oh, okay. That's hey,
It
perfect. Asked and answered. Absolutely.
it was designed as a tarot-based game because that was just the only way I knew how to do it, because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to produce the cards or anything for my on my own. And when we were talking about it, um and he was just like, what if it's just the deck of cards? I'm like, that's all I want. I'm like, I want it to be a deck of cards. And he was like, all right, well, now it's a deck of cards. And we had to adjust a couple things. Like we wanted it to be, if we were going to change it to being just the deck of cards, the original draft of it, which I think is what you have, there's a couple dice mechanics in it,
Mhm.
and we adapted those dice mechanics to be included with the cards so that you don't need anything other than the cards themselves to play the game. So we like made some mechanical changes. um I created our own suits instead of like the suits of the tarot. So we have keyholes, mirrors, quills, skulls,
Skulls, yeah.
and tomes. No, keys.
Yeah, I was gonna say keys, locks, quills, and
Keys.
skulls is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have changed,
So
but that's at least what's on the Kickstarter.
um so made up our own suits, like adapted it to be played just with the cards, and like that had always been my like pie in the sky, but I knew that that wasn't something that I could do, at least not at first. So
Yeah. Isn't it great to have like a budget and just have somebody, yeah, do the thing you wanted to do.
yeah,
That's
like
that's awesome.
yeah, to be like, what's your ideal situation? I explained. He's like, oh, that's all really doable. I'm like, okay.
I love that. That's really cool. And like again, the design is absolutely gorgeous on them. So the mechanic sounds like you have the four suits then. Let's talk a little bit about gameplay. So
Yeah,
you have your character, this youngest daughter of the Braddock family, or perhaps
oldest
the
daughter.
I'm sorry, oldest daughter of the Braddock
Oldest daughter.
family. Yes. But in this long lineage where you do have the family tree where
Mhm.
consistently it's the oldest daughter that's been going missing.
Yes.
Yes. So kind of this almost like peril nipping at the heels of this character who's then returning to this ancestral home. So is there character creation involved? What does that kind of look like for somebody who's starting the game? And actually, a question before that, I'm so sorry. Is this, since it is card based, is this a solo game or is this a game that's played with a game master?
So it is, so you don't need a game master to play it. It is a solo
Mhm.
game. You could also play it collaboratively. So you could also play it with multiple players collaboratively making the decisions. It is always only one player character.
Mhm.
But you can play it collaboratively. I'm a big proponent of playing solo games collaboratively because I
For
love
sure.
collaborative storytelling. But yeah, so there is character creation. There's uh, some basic character creation that goes along with it that you just establish. There are something about this game that's different from a lot of stuff that I've designed is that there is entering into the game, there are a lot of set truths already that are presented to you as the player. and then the player has freedom within that framework to make decisions. So like there are things that are always going to be true. You were born the eldest daughter of an eldest daughter, um, the first in your generation. You're estranged from your parents. You haven't spoken to either of them in years. You know that for the past 5 generations, the eldest daughter has gone missing, without a trace, and the family doesn't seem to really react to that. Um, and just kind of establishing the reasons why you've come to this house, despite the fact that you have been trying to distance yourself from your family name and your family, and you haven't spoken to either of your parents in quite some time. So you set that up. You set up a letter that is on the door of the house when you arrive there, that was left there by your mother. So you set that up, and then you enter the house. So the gameplay in and of itself is fairly straightforward. You separate the cards. So in the homecoming deck, it'll be the keyholes are going to be their own deck. Those are going to be all of your rooms in the house. Um, and then the mirrors, quills, and keys are another deck. And then you have your skull deck, which is your supernatural events. So you start with a room, you flip over a keyhole card, and you read the prompt. It'll describe the room that you are found in, give you a couple questions to flesh out the room, how you feel about being there, what you notice there. And once you've created that room, you then take a card from the key, quill, and mirror deck, flip it over on top of that card, and that'll be either you are uncovering a family secret, you're uncovering a note left by your mother, with family history on it, or you are just taking a break to kind of react to everything that you've seen so far. And you answer those prompts. If there are prompts, not all of them have prompts. The resting cards do have prompts, but a lot of the secrets and history is kind of just like, here it is, here's what you found. And depending on what card you had flipped, the house will either react to you being there, and you have to draw a skull, which is a supernatural event, or the house is kind of chill right now for you, and you can leave and go on to the next room. And you repeat this over. And if you do get a skull, so a supernatural ability, it's going to instruct you to tick one of your trackers. So there are 2 trackers in the game. They are cowardice and curiosity. And depending on what you experience while in the house will either cause you to tick one or the other up. And when you have filled one of them, you either flee the house, hopefully to never return, or you go down into the basement to confront the source of all of this supernaturalness, and confront them and try to find your mom. So it's really the push and pull of being afraid and not wanting to be there, but also just the desperation to know the truth.
Yeah, it is that it's that horror character. It's the don't go upstairs. Oh, you're going upstairs. It is that curiosity. I really like that those are the 2 they're not really skills, but the 2 trackers that you have to kind of motivate or even remove motivation. I think that's really cool. So you don't have to say what the thing is, if there is a thing, but when it comes to the supernatural of the house, is the players is left up to the cards, or is there like is there something in the book that says like this is the thing that you're going to encounter should you go to the basement and confront it?
There are some so if you do go to the basement, there is a definitive answer as to what is there. But up until that point, there are breadcrumbs left through the family history, bits of family history you find, and family secrets in notes left for you by your mother. There are little pieces here and there, and a lot of that lets you piece it together. But of course, because this is a game in which you won't go to all of the rooms in one game, there is a lot of
Yeah.
replayability in that aspect because you won't learn all of the stuff. Like, you won't learn everything with one playthrough. You won't go to all the rooms in one playthrough. You won't learn all the secrets. Um, so the player is kind of able to piece something together on their own before they go and reveal what the truth is. Kind of like in a horror movie where you're like, all right, well, I think this is what I'm about to face, and it could be what you expected, or it could be something completely different.
Absolutely. When we talk about the supernatural on the skull cards, what kind of like what level of supernatural are we talking about? I know like this isn't necessarily a horror game, but you were kind of stretching into that realm a little bit. Um, I guess part of that question is there like gore involved, or is this more of like we're using the word supernatural? So is this more just like weirdness, or perhaps even like spectral, poltergeisty kind of stuff? What's the vibe with that?
Yeah, there's definitely not um physical harm or anything like that. It's a lot of just the house itself trying to get you to leave. So it's a lot of um lights going out. It's a lot of hearing voices from other rooms. It's turning around to leave a room and the door's not there anymore, or you're in a hallway and the hallway doesn't end. Um, Another big touch point for me was the Winchester Mystery House.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, uh, in that, like, it looks normal from the outside, but when you're inside, it's just this twisting, changing labyrinth of a house.
Hmm.
So like my in my mind, it's the house itself. The house can rearrange itself to suit its needs. So it's a lot of stuff like that. It's just things that are there to, because the goal of the house is to scare you away,
Hmm.
not to hurt or kill you, because you're the eldest daughter. Like, you are needed for something. So it's one of those, like, it's not your turn, get out and come back when it is. So the goal wasn't like, the goal was never like, oh, I want it to be a potential that like this character is going to die or this character is going to get
Yeah.
gravely injured or anything like that. Like, no, like, the idea is fear, and it's different levels of that, because it's like, it could be like in one room, like, you start sinking into the floor, or like all of a sudden you're in a different place, or all of a sudden everything falls off the walls. Like, it's a lot of that, as the house is reacting to you. So it's all very unsettling and scary, but not overtly physically harmful.
Hmm. Yeah, it definitely has the vibe of like the house is an organism trying to use like white blood cells to push out the foreign
Yeah.
antibody that is the player character. Um, so I always have to ask when it comes to like lists of things, and especially considering the time that you've clearly put into creating all of this, if there was one room or perhaps one event, one card that you would like, if it had to be drawn in every single game that was ever played of Homecoming, is there one that you are like most proud of, your favorite child when it comes to the stuff
Oh
you've made?
goodness.
I know it's a tough question.
There's so many prompts in this game.
I was gonna say it's clear there's an entire deck that you have put together.
Yes, I have written
78
a tarot
cards.
deck. Yeah,
So yeah,
I have written a tarot deck.
you have any that might
I
stick out to you. It's okay if
yeah,
the answer is no.
I really like, I'm very partial to um the, oh god, they're cups in the play test, but I can't remember what they are in the family history cards.
Mhm.
I had a lot of fun with just like the little bits of this family's history coming from different sources, whereas like the family secrets is all notes coming from your mother. So it's all like her point of view, her voice, her interpretation of the actions, whereas the family secrets are, or the family history is like bits of newspaper or like family records, like things that are much more objective, um, to put that story together. Because I think those suits are where the story of the game is, whereas the rest, like the exploration of the house, like your character is there to find answers, and those are the suits that give you those answers. So I really liked doing those prompts to kind of like piece together for myself, like as the game was coming together, like what were the relationships like in this family, like what started this, like what happened to make this a normalized event. um and that was really fun to just like put together this like very troubled family. And like, would people have tried to leave before, like what happens if that happens, would people um like fight against what's expected of them or challenge anything or question what was happening. So I made a pretty big family, and I have a decent idea of what all of them are like, having, well, the women. I know a lot about the women.
Yeah.
um so it was really interesting, to put that together. So I think the cop out answer is I like that whole suit.
Absolutely. I think that is something that had to be, I assume, very interesting, as you mentioned. Creating the drama of this well-to-do family that also is hiding this dark secret. Because I think one of the most unsettling things to me isn't any of the supernatural stuff. It's that the family kind of turns a blind eye to it, or the insinuation is that they don't react to it.
Right.
Somebody's gonna go missing every generation, and it is just this shrug.
It's the done thing. Yeah.
It's what happens in this family.
Yeah.
It absolutely has that that kind of that trope that you see of just like
Yeah.
evil things will happen in this family, but how do you think that we put so much food on the table? It's part of
Yeah.
it. Just don't ask questions. And
Like I
that
wanted
has,
it, yeah,
please.
I wanted like the house to be an exact reflection of the family, where everything
Yeah.
looks beautiful and pristine and rich and upscale on the outside, and then inside there's just mazes full of scary stuff and secrets. And that's what the family is like, what is
Yeah.
this family given to get where they are,
Yeah,
like at
it's
what
so
expense.
insidious.
Mm.
Absolutely. Yeah. It has the oh, and I just lost the name of the movie. It's the where she plays it's hide and seek. It's the name of the movie.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, it absolutely has that where it's like, yeah, our family's fine on the outside, everything looks great, but we're going to have to, play a murderous game every now and then, or every now and then
oh,
the oldest daughter is going to go missing, and just
like
it's fine.
it's a it's a small price to pay in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, she's over
Like,
40 anyway. Who's it 100% has that, just like, well, what else do you expect to happen?
right.
Which is, yeah, deeply unsettling, I think, more than most other things.
I feel like
Um,
that's more New England than literally anything else in the game.
yes,
No.
absolutely. Yes.
It's very old
Uh,
money New England.
it really is. So, as we mentioned, beautiful deck. You've basically created your own tarot deck. Um, Now, I know that the original rules do have kind of tarot rules built in. Is that something you're going to keep so that people can play with the tarot deck? I know, like, if you purchase the game, you're going to get the card deck with it as
Mhm.
well. But are there going to be alternate rules provided, or is this it can really, or it should be played
Mhm.
with the deck that is provided?
So the intention is the PDF copy of it
Mhm.
is going to have the tarot version
Mhm.
of it, because otherwise you have the cards. So
Sure.
like the version that I had shared with you, obviously with it'll look prettier than what I did.
It's very pretty
But
already, but yes.
that was just for legibility's sake because it is
Yeah,
impossible to navigate the giant Google Doc that the text exists in otherwise.
fair enough.
But the intention is to have the PDF version be with the original tarot based rules,
Mhm.
which is with a tarot deck and a pair of 2d6s, whereas in the card game, the cards themselves, so the dice mechanic is there are a couple times during the game where you'll roll 2d6s. If it's odd, something happens. If it's even, something happens. The way that we translated that to the deck of cards is that all of the cards have a 1, 2, or a 3 at the bottom. Um, when you're prompted to you add the value of the room card and the value of the card that you flipped on top of it. If it's odd, something happens. If it's even, something happens. So it was just like a nice, easy way to eliminate the need for dice and also integrating another design element into the cards.
That's really cool. I don't always shout out fonts as well. You were mentioning the document you sent over. I actually really do love the font that you use for this. Being kind of a fan of fonts. It's very like Gilded Age. It has that absolute vibe of what you were talking about of old money. So just want to shut that up real quick. Um,
I'm gonna find one.
if you were so people are going to be encountering Homecoming for the first time. If you were to give a piece of advice to folks who might be sitting down and playing for the first time, what's a bit of advice that you might offer to them?
I think just let yourself get lost, not necessarily in the house, although that might happen also because that's the nature of Braddock House, but just give yourself the opportunity to just really lose yourself in the story because cool stuff really happens in like when you just kind of dive into it. I would say especially if you're not somebody who's used to playing solo games, like this is like I when designing this, I knew that I was walking a very, very fine line between giving players enough freedom to make decisions while also knowing that there was a very specific story framework that I wanted to work between. So walking that line between the prompts and the information given being railroady versus having enough freedom to make the story your own within that framework. So I think this has a bit more guidance than a lot of other prompt-based games that I've written has. So if you've never tried a solo game, if you're intimidated by if you're intimidated by the idea of just sitting down and playing something and having to come up with a bunch of stuff, like I think this would be a good jumping off point because it is fairly guided, but you still have a lot of that freedom to explore for yourself. Or play
I,
it with somebody because you can easily play it with somebody too.
yeah, I think that's maybe the really beautiful thing is collaborating with somebody on the same character, or if you're maybe being really picky about it, you could also maybe play like siblings, perhaps. I don't know. I think it'd be more fun to play like different aspects and almost have that Bluebeard's Bride sort of
Yeah.
feeling to it of playing these different aspects of this single character that then you almost feel ownership a little bit when you do go towards cowardice or towards curiosity of, oh, this decision is leading me down this part of the personality. Um, I I also just really love that it feels like so many clues just kind of sprinkled into like even beyond the cards themselves, just the artwork that's incorporated. There's the family crest that's part of it, the letter, the description. It's all leading you, like you said, it can maybe at like first blush seem real ready. You're going into a house, you're going through certain rooms, but like you mentioned, you're going to draw different cards. This game has replayability where you're not going to have the same experience every time, and especially if you're not or if you're not just playing by yourself, you're going to have different experiences to play by yourself, but when you play with other people, that brings in different opportunities as well and different perspectives. Uh, so it's such a cool game, Megan. It's absolutely beautiful. Again, the artwork's gorgeous, the writing is great, and I'm very happy that you got a card deck out of it. That's super exciting. Yeah. Um, so we've talked a little bit about gameplay. We've talked about perhaps first experiences with the game itself. Um, any other mechanics or anything you might think is important to know before people jump into Homecoming for the first time?
I don't think so. I think the joy in it is it's very simple. There
Yeah.
isn't much to learn. You can just pick it up and play it, which was my intention. Is I wanted it to be something that was really focused on the story. So there isn't much to learn from a mechanical standpoint. You just need something to keep track of your trackers and in the deck, and you can just go. So that was definitely the intention, is to make it something that was not mechanically complex.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing about it as well, is for solo games or for games that people might be jumping into, it has that. I mean, character creation very slim, in a very great way. You have the two things you need to track, uh, and I think one of the great things about this game, to the point that you had made of it being slightly horror, having that mystery, having that tension, is having read through like the end game and all the various end games you can go through. None of them are none of them are going to make you feel fully like, oh, I did it. Like
Mhm.
all of them absolutely have that kind of open-ended, like the tension's not fully gone. It's still there in the background,
They're
and
all the end title card, and then the question
the
mark
question
comes
mark.
up.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that goes into, I think, maybe the family, the generational trauma of it is you can resolve a conflict,
Hmm.
but it's still going to be hanging on. There's still going to be everything that led up to it, all the aftermath of it. It's all going to be in the back of your head. Just it haunts you.
Hmm.
This game will haunt you in the best of ways. And I love the haunting quality that you have brought to it. It's absolutely wonderful. Um, Anybody else that contributed to this game that you'd like to shout out? I know we talked about artists. I know we talked about
Yeah.
the collaboration that you've done with Possible Worlds Games. Anybody else you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'd say otherwise, I'll shout out Will Jobst, who is the editor. They edited all three of these games on this Kickstarter. They are fantastic game designer in their own right and an amazing editor. Um, and then just because I like to do it, I will shout out my good friend Anna Landon, who's also an amazing artist and game designer. Because I credit a lot of me pushing to get Homecoming made the way that it's being made is because of her. Because I sent her a playtest of it and woke up one morning to like a 4 a.m. message, being like, I stayed up until midnight writing a novella bit length thing because of this game, and it's something really special, and I hope that you know how special it is. And it was that message that really like spurned me on to be like, all right, like maybe
God, that's really
maybe
nice.
maybe so I yeah, she's like, I know imposter syndrome is a thing for you, so screenshot this and just print it somewhere because this is a good game. And I credit her with a lot of my drive to hold on to it until I found the right partner to help bring it to life. And it feels like Possible Worlds Games is the absolute best place for it to be. Like I trust Tyler so much with it, and he's been fantastic through this whole process. So it's really fun for like my first game being published by somebody who's not me. Was a little
Yeah,
scary, but it has been a great experience.
I'm really glad. And should we all be so lucky to have a friend like Anna? That's man, to have a person like that in your
Seriously.
corner, that's incredible. Um, Before we get into all of the cool stuff that folks get from Kickstarter, is there anything else that I might have missed about Homecoming? Anything else you particularly think is like especially cool or want to feature about it?
Ooh. Um, we hit on most of it.
I say you gave a great description of it. I just want to make sure
Yeah,
we shine a light
I
on
don't want
all the
to.
corners you want to
Yeah,
shine a light on. Yeah, we don't
yeah,
give it
I don't
away for
want to.
free.
I don't want to give anything. I think anything else I would say, I think would cheapen some of the first time play. So I don't want to give away too much more. But
Absolutely fair.
I know we'll be doing a playthrough next Tuesday, so the 7th, 18th, 18th.
Yes,
The
something like that.
Tuesday after this airs,
16th.
on 16th, on my good friend Maria's Twitch channel, Maria Barista. They are going to be doing a playthrough of it, and then I'll be popping on to do kind of like a little Q&A after their playthrough is done. So if you do want to see it played, you can head over there at 7 p.m. Eastern,
Okay.
to Maria's channel, and you can see it. You can see it in action, so you'll get a little bit of an idea of how it plays.
Awesome. We'll post a link to that. Um, yeah, that's really exciting to have it played as well. I'm excited for the Q&A afterwards as well. Have you done a lot of playtesting for this?
Personally,
I was gonna say,
no.
okay,
I
you
am
wrote it all. That's like playtesting.
yes, I am a notoriously bad playtester of my own stuff, because actually it's not even playtesting. Like, I have a very hard time playing any of my own games because I can't be objective about it.
Hmm.
I'm always looking for what works, what doesn't work, what can be improved, what, like, so it's so in a way that serves me when I'm doing playtests, but I tend to get in my own head a lot, and I can't be objective while I'm playing it. So luckily, I know a lot of wonderful people who are willing to play test my games for me and give me feedback on them. Um, so I wouldn't say that this had like extensive play testing as much as it had a bunch of people reading it. Um, because the mechanics of it, like, I did what little math my brain allows to determine your, like, the right way to determine like how many curiosity tick up prompts I have and how many cowardice tick up prompts and like that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But my biggest concern with it is just making sure that narratively it was something that worked, and worked the way I wanted it to. So a lot of the feedback that I solicited from people is just like, play it, but if you don't have time to play it, read it and tell
Hmm.
me what's missing, what's too much. Like, and Tyler was a big hand in that too, just like making sure like we had the continuity that we were looking for, that any of the prompts, any of the like the minor arcana prompts worked with any of the rooms, making sure like we didn't have prompts that contradicted each other, making sure like all the family history worked out. So like it was a lot of that, like, so almost like a editing as if you're like editing like a short story,
Hmm.
less so than like mechanical playtest edits. But we there were a lot of eyes on it in the time since its birth till now. But me personally, I'm like the world's worst playtester.
That's all right. Like I said, you put in all the work to write it in the first place, and I
Right.
I get the perfectionist mindset, and you just sit there and it's like, well, how can I reword this? And it's
Yeah.
probably great already.
And I want to
Um,
enjoy playing it. I'm like,
yeah,
but it's hard.
yeah, I get that. Um, Well, this is a game that you can currently get on Kickstarter. The Kickstarter for it is PWG Presents Cosmic Century Knights, Homecoming, and Chuck. Don't just search Homecoming. It might not get you exactly what you're looking for. It might get you pretty close though. But Homecoming, Meghan Cross, also great to put into your search engine. That's Meghan with a GH. And right now, you all are as of the release of this will be about 11, 10-ish days from the project closing. And you're incredibly close to your goal as of time of recording here on the 12th. So I'm hoping by Sunday you all can absolutely be there, if not just a hair away. But for you watching, this is an excellent time for you to back this project and get yourself one, if you're feeling modest, or if you really want a deal, all three games, and again that is Homecoming, Chuck, and Cosmic Century Knights, for an incredible deal. So to talk about the actual backing, you can always just support with, just a support. There's always that. However, for the rewards, for 60 US, you can get Homecoming, Cosmic Century Knights, and Chuck. Chuck is thrown in for free. Again, really good deal for that. And that is for, let's see, that's for 3 PDFs. For $10, you can get just the Chuck PDF. For 25, you can get Homecoming, Cosmic Century Knights, and Chuck PDFs only. So I believe the 60 is for the physical copies as well.
Yes, so 60 is for the physical copies, and then 25 is for all the PDFs. And then if you buy them back individually, it's 30, 30, and 10 for Cosmic Century Knights, Homecoming, and Chuck, respectively, for physical copies. So the $60 is you save $10 by getting Chuck for free.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And again, Homecoming is, over 50 pages, $30. You're getting a really good deal if you just get that. But do yourself a favor, get three really cool games. Yeah, those are really good incentives on it. It's great descriptions on all of them, and some really great writers. Meghan, you of course a fantastic TTRPG writer. James D'Amato, somebody that folks would recognize as well in the TTRPG space. Mm-hmm. And it looks like Possible World Games is really putting out some great stuff. So again, I'm really happy for you for making that collaboration. Any other plugs or things that we should look out for? We're going to look out for the stream on Maria's channel. Mm-hmm. Anything else we should look out for Homecoming?
There will be an interview coming out on the One Shot Podcast Network that I did with James. I'm not sure exactly when that's coming out, but if you follow me over on Blue Sky at Meghan I've basically been yelling about nothing else. So I'm promoting all the folks who I've been talking to about it, who've been playing it. So everything can be found over there. This is my main project right now. I've got a couple irons in the fire that I'll hopefully be shouting about in the not too distant future, including a compiled shitpost game zine that is almost done, that my wonderful friend is laying out for me. So that's something I'm very excited about. So we have Homecoming, which is spooky, horror, introspective, generational trauma game. And then I'm going to immediately it's going to be Shot Chaser. I'm going to immediately chase it with a zine of, I think, 12 shitpost games.
Incredible. Again, it's so clear you contain multitudes.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Incredible. We'll look out for that as well. You said 12 different games coming out in the zine. Dang. Any titles that we could look out for in that?
So there's one new one that I wrote for the zine, but otherwise we've got such bangers as Theseus is a piece of shit and it's high time he got his.
Yep.
Where I channeled all of my rage for Theseus into a lasers and feelings hack, where your stats are righteous and anger.
Okay. Yes.
you've got your classics. This meeting could have been a dungeon, which is a dungeon creation game that you play while in a Zoom meeting.
It's a personal favorite. Yes.
Um, so we've got like some longer form ones. One of my unsung heroes. I feel like it needs more love. So I'm like, this is getting included. Is Yas Queen, where
Mm-hmm.
you play as a group of drag queens and your stats are charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Great.
Um, that I wrote in the throes of my drag race obsession, which never really dulled. But when I first got really into drag race, I'm like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then we've
And
got
and
like the
those
little
those stats don't spell anything all put together or anything
no,
like that. No,
nothing,
not
nope,
not, not at
nope.
all.
It's just some things that all drag queens
Just
have.
yeah, just a great series of words to
Yeah,
throw together in that specific order.
yeah. So those
Absolutely.
ones are all like the playable ones, and then I have like other silly, less playable ones like Don't Create the Torment Nexus or Minos Tours Unlimited. Like it's just silly stuff. You've got like half almost fully unplayable games, and then you've got like some actual stuff that is playable but just very silly. Like I think Necromancer's Ball is in there. And the Great Goblin Bake Off, which I'm also a big fan of, is in there. So there's some good stuff. And I'm not just
Yes.
saying that because I wrote it and I'm on like I'm in a strange place of self-confidence. Uh but
I'm
it's
great. I'm
fun.
glad you're there. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great
So
titles. I mean,
yeah, so
just alone.
keep an eye out. It's gonna be called They're Your Problem Now,
Great.
a shitpost anthology.
Incredible. Man, your ability to title things is I think I'm good at titling things sometimes, but you are really good at it. That is
Oh,
absolutely a skill that you have.
you couldn't possibly be commenting on my newest release, the West Denison Township Book Club and Amateur Detective Society.
Next time I
Yeah,
can't think of a title, I'm coming to you. I'm
but
that's the way it's
yeah,
gonna work.
it either the titles either are the first thing I think of, or I am just like crying in front of a Google Doc, being like, please just give me something. But all the bangers are ones that the title came first. And I was like, well, now I have no choice but to write a game so that I can use this title.
I can't tell you how many times I've just typed in like idiom involving birds, and then I just go to Rhyme Zone to try to find like some sort of variation of that idiom to try to make a
Oh,
pun out of it. Yeah.
my go-to is relatedwords.org.
Yes,
You type
I
in any
also.
word and they just give you hundreds of words that are just somewhat close to them, and I just keep clicking until something works
hmm
generally.
Love some good word association.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Megan, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing Homecoming with us. It is absolutely creepy and haunting game, and I'm so very much looking forward to getting a copy and also watching the stream that's coming up on Tuesday, the 16th. So, where in the meantime can folks find you?
So you can find me mostly over on Blue Sky at Megan Lynn FTW. You can find my games at meganlynnftw.itch.io, with physical copies available on my Ko-fi, as well as on Tabletop Bookshelf and Indie Press Revolution. All of my links, I have like a card linked on my Blue Sky profile that has basically everything that you'd ever need to find about me. And yeah, that's me. So if you follow me over there, you'll have a pretty good idea of everything I'm doing, for better or worse.
Perfect. Check out the Kickstarter for Homecoming, as well as for Cosmic Century Knights and Chuck, three incredible games that are currently available through a Kickstarter being put out by Possible World Games. You can, again, get any of those titles individually. However, the most bang for your buck is going to get all three for a really affordable price. So do yourself a favor and back that Kickstarter. And let's see, get about 11-ish days, but don't wait. Don't wait when it comes to this kind of stuff. You're gonna
Don't make
forget.
us wait.
No. It's just
Don't make us wait. Just help
instant
us fund.
gratification. You're gonna have to wait for the Kickstarter to get fulfilled anyway, and just don't. Instant gratification's so nice. It comes, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the thing. So. Thank you to Megan. Thank you to Possible World Games for bundling these three incredible games together. And check out Homecoming. Do yourself a favor and inspire yourself. I think that's the beauty of solo games, that you can, come up with writing inspiration, or perhaps, something that I'm more aligned with is play this game collaboratively. Play this character with friends. Have you all build that tension together. Tension's great on your own, and some people really enjoy that. I really like the collaboration of making that singular character that you're all. It has the same feeling as a Ouija board in a certain way. You all have your fingers on the planchette. Maybe one of you's pushing it, maybe you're not. But the creepy thing's going to happen when we open the door or when you land on a letter, respectively. So check out Homecoming. It's gonna be great. For Sword and Tea, I'm Derek Sword. Is he, him pronouns. Have been your host. Thank you for joining us once again. I hope you enjoyed a cozy beverage while you were sitting with us. If you have any questions for Meghan, please head over to the Sword and Key Discord. You can post questions in our Sword and Tea chat there, and I can pass them along to Meghan and get some answers for you. For more Sword and Key stuff and for the links to that Discord, you can go to beacons.ai/Sword and Key. You can find all of our links in one neat, nice place. Right at the top is Instagram and Blue Sky, or socials. It's also the Twitch if you're watching this live. Just bear in mind it is pre-recorded, but also live at the same time. Give us a follow if you haven't already. It's very much appreciated. The Discord link is up at the top as well. As you scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see some of our charitable organizations. Right now, that's PCRF, Palestine Children's Relief Fund, and Canine Campaigns for Independence. Both of those are evergreen charities. However, right now, it is Service Dog Month in the United States, and Canadian Campaigns for Independence is an organization that is near and dear to my heart. As this is being released, we will have just played a one-shot for my birthday and also for Canadian Campaigns for Independence. So it's a great organization. It's one of the few organizations in the United States that provides service dog assistance to people, recipients, with no cost to them at all. And there are very few service dog organizations that can boast that. CCI is one of the few. So no cost for travel, no cost for stay, no cost for training, no cost for receiving the dog at all. So it's a pretty great organization, and they can always use some support. For all of the other links on beacons.ai/Sword and Key, you can see some of our affiliates. We're affiliates with Long Dog Dice. Jen makes incredible dice sets. You can use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase there. Jen's added a bunch of really great dice to that store. And you can even pre-order the official Sword and Key Horizons Call dice. It has the little Sword and Key logo on the D6. It's pretty cool. I'll see if I can fish mine out real quick. While I am doing that, we are also affiliates with Hit Point Press, the makers of Humblewood and animated spell cards and tons of TTRPG stuff. You probably know who they are. So check out our affiliate link if you're going to be shopping from them. That is the Sword and Key dice right there. It's pretty cool. Jen did surprise me with that not that long ago, and it's still one of my absolute favorite possessions. We're also affiliates with Hit Point Press. No, I said that already. We're also affiliates with Eldritch Foundry. They make custom minis, and did just send me an email that if you use our affiliate link available on Beacons, there is a special deal right now that you can get a special deal for 3 months of just $19.99 for an unlimited STL subscription. So if you are printing minis, it's actually a really good deal. It's unlimited. You can make custom minis, no matter how weird and wild, normal and mild your TTRPG character might be. You can always make one and have it mailed to you. You can always use code Sword and Key for 10% of your first purchase with that. But if you're getting the subscription, that's a pretty good deal for it. So check it out. Other links on our beacons. We have links to Monster Crush, the podcast to do with my friend LD. We actually have a new episode out later today, probably late tonight, that I will be doing with my friend Shadow, because LD is busy this time of the year, but we've come back from a hiatus, and my very good friend Shadow has decided to join me to talk about cryptid creatures and the monsters from myth and how smoochable they are. So if you love monsters or love monsters, check that out wherever podcasts are found. Shadow decided we should talk about unicorns, and on the surface I went, yeah, that's fine, that'll be fun. And then I didn't realize the in-depth disturbing history of unicorns, and I'm changed as a person, and you will too if you listen. For everything else, Sword and Key, it's all in the beacons, YouTube's there, and all the other links for all the other stuff. So check all that out. Again, this was pre-recorded, so we appreciate you spending some time with us. Head over to the Discord for any questions. And again, special thank you to Meghan, and go check out Homecoming, check out the Kickstarter, and back it. Don't wait. We will see you all again, hopefully sooner rather than later. Until that time, take care of yourselves and take care of others.